I'm very sorry I came so late. What happened was that I went to a ancient thing written in Kriya Yoga for people today, an old Agastya sort of thing, like the Brigu Sangita, but it's from Tamil Nadu. And they found a pater for me, and then they insisted that we do it today. They said they've never had anything so extraordinary, and I had to come and do it. And I said, no, I can't come. I've got this satsang. And they said, well, then we must come to you. And I said, can't we do it tomorrow? And they said, no, it has to be done today. And so anyway, I didn't know what to do, but they said a few nice things. Anyway, I'm so happy to be here. And I feel blessed just having you here. It has been a wonderful life. It has been a wonderful time in India. And the nice thing about this reading is that they said that this new ashram that we're building this new community in Pune, they didn't specify Pune, but they said it will have a glorious success. And we should build a great temple there and various things. And I thought Nirmala could tell you a few things he said, but really, you know, I feel like you have a crashing chord and drums, and ta-da, and finally, a little mouse comes out on the stage. So that's what I feel like, that mouse. Anyway, so it has been a great blessing to be here in India. As you know, I'm coming back again in September, but I'm escaping all the horrible heat you will have to endure. And I'm sorry for that. I feel like sort of leaving you in the lurch that way. But as you know, I have many different centers in the world, and I have to go to them too. This has been an extraordinary year. It is my 84th year. And anybody in his right mind would be putting his feet up on a table and resting. Instead, I have done so many things I can't even count them all. But among them, I have written 2 movies, scripts, and I have written a story for children, and I think you will enjoy that story for children. What happened was that I just in an idle moment, I picked up the Wizard of Oz just to remember, and I got as far as the Yellow Brick Road, which is just the beginning of the book, and suddenly God gave me this story to tell. And it's quite an unusual story. What happens is that these 2 boys, myself and my younger brother, in Romania, we used to vacation in the Carpathian Alps there. And so the 2 of us go walking out into the forest, and we discover this ruin. And we look inside, it turns out to have been a laboratory. And we go inside, and we find a file broken open, we look inside the file, and it says something in German, which I know, which I speak and read, and it said something about time, and I thought, well, watches, what's that about? But it turned out to be something much, much deeper. Anyway, the first day, they don't know what it's all about, and they go outside and they see something lying there in the bushes, and they go over to find out what it is. It's a huge dinosaur, mostly skeletal, but there's still some flesh there, which means that it's a recent dinosaur, but dinosaurs were extinct 67,000 million years ago, supposedly. And so, anyway, they don't know what this all means, but they finally go into this tunnel, and they become smaller and smaller and smaller, and you see these huge boulders, which are just specks of dust, and then they get into a little puddle on the floor. It becomes a huge lake, and they find Paramecia, and they become smaller than the atoms, and finally they become nothing except consciousness, and they go through this thing, and suddenly they come out in their normal forms, and come into a state of timelessness. And in this timeless state, they see somebody lying there, and this person has he's unconscious, and they figure out, thank you. And he doesn't say anything, he's just sort of bewildered, but then they say dinosaur and he wakes up and he is very concerned about this dinosaur. And so they said, don't worry, the dinosaur is dead. He said, oh, thank God. And what happened was that his father and he had built this time tunnel to go into timelessness. And then in timelessness, they can go forward in history, they can go backward in history. And that he, after his father died, there's one thing that he didn't keep in mind, that they went forward in time to the time when jet airplanes could break through the sound barrier. Well, his father warned him, if you travel too quickly through time, you will break through the time barrier, and that will create a huge explosion. And anyway, he went forward and went backward all those millions of years, and he found all these dinosaurs bathing in mud and walking on the plains and so on. He decided to come up onto this back of the dinosaur and ride it. He was up there looking around, having a good time. When suddenly a Tyrannosaurus Rex came after the beast that he was riding. And he was so anxious to escape this Tyrannosaurus Rex that he rushed out of there much too fast. And because anything that you're gripping, you have to take back to your own time zone. So he was gripping this dinosaur and it went back with him. And when that explosion happened, because he broke the time barrier, the dinosaur got pushed forward and he got pushed backward. And fortunately, the explosion killed the dinosaur. Otherwise, it would have created havoc. And he was lying there and he said, what year is this? And they said, well, it's 1935. He said, but I came here in 1930. And he'd been lying there unconscious in timelessness for 5 years. And anyway, then he began showing them how you can go forward. And so they go back to the times of Atlantis and ancient Egypt and all these things. It's really great fun. And the thing is, you can't change history, but history can change you. And so for all these experiences they had, they can see how they need to change themselves, how they can improve. And it's really a very good book, I have to say. It's great fun and it teaches great lessons, and in a palatable way. Children, and even children my age, will be able to get a lot from it. So this is part of what I have done this year. It's been a busy year. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. I'm deeply touched. And Emily, you might like to tell them a little bit about what they were saying.